Yo, this is Steve Bloom, and you're watching Moana Nui Podcast. We'll be starting soon. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, people. It is your host, Malachi Bailey, and I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of Malachi's Corner. Today's the last day of Pride, so it was only fitting that we had two of the most amazing indie creators on today's show. Good friends of mine who have been, pretty tight with for a minute. So, I'm glad that we're able to close out Pride with some good peeps. So you guys may know Greg Anderson LSA. He is Nana, the Were Spider creator. He's always at some con, and he's rocking the Hoochie Daddy shorts. So, so we have him as one of our guests today, and then of course we have good old Jason Reeves from One Art, and of course One Nation. I cannot wait to dive into the character Stronghold, no pun intended. So, so for those who are not familiar with my guests, the questions that I'll ask you guys, I'd like you both to answer it, or you could alternate, whichever is comfortable. Hey, Lance. Um, he was buzzing me as I was getting ready. Like, I can't discuss Storm right now, but I can, but maybe later. Hey, Andrew. All right, so I did like a little introduction, but I want you guys to go into detail. So the first official question: who the hell are you?
Wait.
Jason, you go first.
Existentially, or like?
I mean, whatever tickles your pickle.
Wow. Who am I? I don't know. I make comics, yo. I make comics about black gods, black characters, black leads, black protagonists, antagonists. 133 Art is our experiment into creating a company that focuses on black characters, essentially. And because I love superheroes, because I've always loved superheroes, those are usually the main focus. But we do superhero, sci-fi. What else? We have a book about Changa, who is a merchant trader in the 15th century on the West African coast, and all kinds of stuff. So we are trying to bring the black to the forefront. That's our thing in comics.
I love it. I love it. Gregory, who you be?
Who are you?
Remember, you're like one of the only people I'll allow this to call me by my full name. Like,
yeah, I'm the only one, like, for real.
All right. I am the writer creator of Is Nana the Were Spider, and just like Jason Reeves, pretty much most of the things I like to write is just black. I grew up into all types of fantasy, horror, mythology, all type of stuff like that. But I was always excited as a young black kid whenever I saw black people in my stuff. Even though I wasn't one of those people who was like, oh, I need to have black people in my stuff at the time. But it excited me when I saw black people. But as I got older, I was like, nah, I need to see some black people in my stuff. And so I pretty much became this creator who just wanted to see more of us in speculative fiction. And it also, I'm excited to also add even just queer black folks, just to showcase the nuances that we have, that we're just as human as just people like Jason Reeves, them breeders and shit like that.
Hold on, you called him a breeder?
Yeah,
dang,
I'm like
a breeder on this
that's the
thing.
funny
If
thing.
the shoe fits,
I've
right?
only bred one time.
Oh man, I'm trying to get like you though, Jason. But no. But I just I love writing. I love creating anything that I can, and just trying to showcase the different aspects of blackness in fantasy and all types of fantasy, of all types of speculative fiction, and there's so much work to be done as well. Even though there's so much things out there, there's so many things out there that showcases us, but we just don't have the exposure. And I want to help try to break that barrier and getting more of us out there.
Okay. I mean, it's all appreciated. So you guys discussed, a bit of your respective origin stories. So how did you guys meet? Because I'm curious, how did we get this deliciousness right here?
How did we
I'd
meet?
like to know.
I have no idea,
I
bro.
don't remember. It had to be like a con or something, right?
Bro,
No?
I know we probably met online. We probably met on
Yeah,
Facebook.
that's probably first
I don't remember the initial meeting.
It
At
was
all.
maybe it was my year. It was my year. It had to be my year. So Crown, shout out to Crown. What you doing, girl?
Why is she on?
I don't know where the hell she at.
You want to tell?
Maya Crown Williams, I'm gonna say introduced us online.
We
And,
probably met at MechaCon.
We probably did
Like-
meet at MegaCon.
Little Brad said. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
He does have an interview going on today.
yeah, Brian should be in here too. But yeah, no, we probably met at MechaCon as well, and just kind of been palling around ever since. And at first, we had never been like, yo, we need to work together or anything like that. We just kind of shared in being Black creators who like knew each other, especially through one of our best mutual friends. So we just joke around and hang out in the DMs and just, became cool. And then at some point, I think after I read Marasa, I was like, I gotta work with this dude.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that wasn't it.
Marasa
What
was
was
out then.
Huh?
Marasa
wasn't
was
out?
then.
No.
Nah. You hit me up way before I started working on Marasa.
Did I? 'Cause
Yeah.
I didn't like none of your work before. I'm just playing. Okay, I'm lying. I'm telling untruths.
I think what it was, honestly, because we met through Maya, and we met at MechaCon. We was always pretty cool since. And I think given that I was very out there with what I stood for, with showcasing blackness and queerness and shit like that, and I think you reached out to me about Stronghold.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what it was? Wait. What it was? I did that piece of It's Nana, and you were like, "Yo, like, what could I do to repay you?" And I was like, and then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Give a brother a script. That's where Stronghold came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
And it's funny because I still remember when you came up to me for Stronghold, because at the time I had a lot of people, trying to hit me up like, oh, can you write this queer character and this queer character and this queer character? And even though it's Nana, I still haven't dabbled too much on what I want to do with him sexuality wise, and I've introduced some characters that will be revealed to be queer, but I haven't really jumped. I haven't had the time to develop it. But given that I was writing articles and showcasing a lot of queer folks, and at the time I was also, I think, attached to the gentleman. When Jason came for Stronghold, I was like, oh, y'all trying to typecast me as the Black queer writer.
I wasn't going to say it,
but the thing is, even originally then, Stronghold was supposed to be white.
Mm-hmm.
And
it wasn't
until, he was supposed to be was supposed to be a white dude. And at first I was like, all right, so he wants me to write this queer character. Slight typecast, but I'll do it.
And I didn't want it to come off that way, but at the same time, the need to like have you on there, like, and have you develop it was like stronger than me being like, oh man, he gonna say, he's gonna say I'm trying to get him to write the queer character. No, I don't want him.
But I mean, I respect it though, because you wanted some authenticity, and that's the thing. A lot of folks even though to me, I'm like, I wish more straight people would write queer characters. But then there's an aspect that's missing because it's as if they try to, if it's not stereotypical, tropes that they're adding in, they're almost afraid of writing them in a three-dimensional type of way because they're afraid of like writing them wrong, or so it's like they're walking on eggshells a little bit, and so
Well, that's part of the reason why I hit you up, because we was
yeah,
cool, and then I was like, "Yo, I don't want to be inauthentic, but
yeah.
also I want to go hard." You know what I'm saying? So,
Unintended.
yeah, exactly. No
Yeah,
pun
so,
intended.
but like
Yeah,
the reason why he even turned black, I don't know, when he turned black during the process of developing, that's when I was
Yeah.
like, because in a way I was like, okay, not everything I sort of enjoyed not automatically having to write another black character because I think I was going through my whole like Christopher Priest moment where he was just like, I don't want to be pigeonholed as a black writer.
Yeah.
But I think it was when Jamal, we were dabbling with Jamal being the artist, and
Yeah.
he did some random sketch of some character, and I don't think it was supposed to be Stronghold, but it looked enough like Stronghold, but it was black, and all of a sudden Jason was like, he's black now. I don't give a fuck. He's black now. And I was like, bro, are you serious? But
And
thinking about it, it was just like, wait, if we went the direction of he's a black man with albinism, he's queer, and he's with this racist ass white family, you know how much complexity we can
Meat.
mess around with that, know? And I remember, like, I met a black guy with albinism who literally just as muscular almost as like Stronghold. I was like, yo, I am writing a book about you, bro.
Was that you met the model that you sent to us, or is this
No. The
Oh,
model
okay.
that we based him off of was like dark skin, like he, But there was one time I met like a black queer man with albinism, and he literally looked like the designs that we've been using for Stronghold, and I'm like, bruh, and I didn't want to be weird and be like, yo, I'm writing a book about you, but like,
But I am.
but I am
writing a book about you.
So I wanted to go a little deeper regarding the design of Stronghold, because visually he's so striking. You have the really pale skin, even with the hair texture, it's kinky. It doesn't lead you to believe that this is Steve Rogers holding the flag that isn't LGBTQ. I liked how it came across, and beefcakes are always nice. So here he is on the cover. Let me show the cover again. I mean, this is now just like a little reflection. This is delicious. So Greg, did you ever see that guy again to let him know that you completed the book? No. Yeah, because
two ships passing in the night, huh?
Yeah. But you know what? It kind of reminds me of, you guys may remember, like 2 years ago when there was a lot of the BLM protests, there is a known albino activist who got arrested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we were looking up like reference, and he came up in our reference.
Because he was a model too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking he was talking about. But like, he came up in our reference, and we used a lot of that, a lot of him. There you go. And then we looked up I was looking up albino models with albinism.
Yeah, I was gonna correct that. So the proper term is, person of albinism. Albino is a bit of a slur.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. And I was like just trying to figure out what features we wanted to bring into the book. And then, just dealing with different artists, you want to make sure that you're playing to their strengths as well. And Antonello, as everybody can see, is amazing.
He is.
Shout out to Antonello. Like, just very expressive faces, and very expressive just art in general. And he can do action. A lot of people can do the drama, but they can't do the action. And Antonello is like the total package. So shout out, dude. But yeah, we wanted to make sure that we were getting the features of albinism right. And there was a lot of discussion because Damien or Stronghold here, he wears a tank top.
Yes, he does.
But albinism doesn't really afford people to be able to like go out, just stark like he usually does. Like you'll get sunburned or, you know. So we had a lot of discussion on why that works for him and having, albinism. And we're attributing that the fact that he can wear less clothes to the fact that he has these Karamat superhuman abilities.
Okay.
So his strength allows him to be able to do some of that, even with albinism.
Now, I remember when I read the issue, there were some things that stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
But what I liked about it in particular is that he had a twin sister.
Mm-hmm.
And, for those who know me, I actually have a twin sister as well. And
Really?
you didn't know that, Jason?
I did not.
Yeah, I have a twin sister. She is a character. She's a character. Her name is Tony. And, I showed her, your book. And, she thought it was pretty cool because, you have the twins and then, one is gay. Hello, it's me. But not really because, I don't have muscles and stuff. But so we just shared an article that I actually wrote, about Stronghold. I did it for ICD. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the model we were talking about, right?
I think that's him. Yeah.
Yeah, those are some powerful features. I don't want to use the term exotic because that's kind of like, kind of, I don't know, it's not politically correct anymore. But he has features that are still very pleasing to the eye. So the inspiration, Jason, what made you want to create Stronghold? What was in your mind? What made you want to focus on this part of the community?
Well, we're always trying at 133 Art to like show the different the myriad of black people. And at first, like Greg said, we had him white. So I was like, I don't necessarily want to go back and rework the look of the
Mhm.
character in a way that would drastically change him, especially since he shows up on the cover of issue 3. So I was
Mhm.
like, how could we stay sort of in that vein? Because I liked how different he looked as opposed to the rest of the characters, right?
Mhm.
On this cover. And you have this big, fair skinned person. So I was like, yo, how could we do that? And then bringing Greg in and just talking about him maybe being black. How could we approach that? And then we thought about albinism. And we are like, okay, that's actually really good because that's a part of the spectrum that we haven't dealt with. And that's a
Mhm.
part of the spectrum you don't see a whole lot in narratives. Like, I can't remember any character until like Black Lightning that held a prominent character with albinism. And I thought the way they handled it on Black Lightning was pretty dope, at least for the seasons I saw.
I mean,
Um
I wanna just interject real quick, and then you can get back. Like one thing
yeah.
with, as much as I love Black Lightning and I love
Mhm.
Tobias well on that show, he's like my favorite character on that show.
Mhm.
When it does come to characters with albinism, for the most part, they're usually villains.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
they're
true.
not like side characters or just there for like decoration. They're,
Mhm.
if they have any type of characterization, they're usually villains or this exotic, creepy looking person who is
Right.
very mysterious and stuff. So I was very excited in the aspect of like, yo, we got a black character with albinism who's actually the main character and he's a hero.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing too. Like focus is always at the forefront of my mind. When I'm writing a character, I'm like, yo, we need to make sure that the focus is on this cat, and we need to make sure that, especially when we're writing superheroes, that he is heroic and prominent and at the forefront. So, because to me, like Greg is saying, like, okay, Tobias Whale is the villain though, so it still kind of demonizes
True.
the idea of people with albinism, right? So making Stronghold the guy, the go-to guy, and even in One Nation, before we did this book, he was kind of a background character.
Okay.
He wasn't necessarily the hero because One Nation, his main is Paragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we did Stronghold, he became a 3D fully fledged person, and he leads his own team now, you know. And I just thought that was a really cool, almost serendipitous thing that happened to the One Nation book. Now, when I'm thinking of going forward, how do we write these stories? Stronghold is like a main character, and I thought that was really cool, that we got to be able to create him. But yeah, and also, black people with albinism have strong features, and I thought it was really cool to be able to put that on the page, and represent right.
And
And
it's brought up too. Like we brought that into the story where it's actually
yeah,
mentioned.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
go off, son. You know what I'm saying?
I
Say,
mean, it's funny because one person who brought that up was Keithan Jones.
uh-huh.
Yes.
Because one of
What
the
is
things that we've been writing with this thing is the fact that he tries to pass for white.
mm-hmm.
Uh, him and his sister, pretty much, because they grew up with they're biracial. They grew up with the white side of the family,
Right.
and we're gonna reveal later on that essentially, that white side have tried so hard just to mask the aspect that they're black,
Right.
and that pretty much in a sense brainwashed them growing up to them trying to hide any aspect of their blackness. So even looking at their hair in the
Mm-hmm.
flashbacks,
Right.
their hair is either
Is
short or
straight
they're straight.
or straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the one person who brings up the fact that he has black features is a black person. He goes to a black person and he, inadvertently insults the black person because of his sexuality. But then Randall, the black
Yeah.
character,
In the beginning. Okay.
he was like, "Oh, you got some cocoa features," and, and he takes offense to that because it's like he's trying to mask this aspect of him, and he doesn't accept his blackness whatsoever. And so, I definitely wanted to do something where it's like art wise, we can see it, and
Right.
also that's something that we as black people sometimes will see certain people who can pass as black as white. I mean, but then you look at it and you're like,
But
you got some.
Well, and it's a thing in the South too, right? So I try to infuse a bit of New Orleans or Louisiana into everything that we write or whatever. And a thing in the South is like, especially if you're fair skinned or whatever, like you relax your hair. Like you try to get the kinks out of your stuff so that you do look like you can pass. Um and the thing about his family dynamic is an extreme version of trying to placate your oppressors, because it turns out his family is more oppressive almost than even the outside world, and
Mm-hmm.
they're teaching him and Daisy, his sister, from young children to hate their blackness, right? Because they don't want the town to know that this infidelity happened and they have these little black kids running around. So yeah, I think the one another really cool thing is seeing the present and then seeing the future. I mean, and then seeing the past and then seeing him and Daisy develop into the human beings they end up becoming, because they come from this sort of harrowing journey of young Louisiana kids, kids who wrestle, alligators in the swamp, and all of this oppression to superheroes, essentially, to like black heroes.
Jason, can we get a pin up of them as children wrestling alligators?
Oh man, yes, yes. Well, I mean, Damien is the one that wrestled the alligators, but yeah, absolutely. Actually, in issue 2, you'll get to see him wrestle an alligator.
Okay, because
Yeah.
that actually leads into my next question. Considering how packed the first issue was. You had all these characters, these cool powers. You had this interesting flashback sequence that was going on throughout the book, which we'll get into a moment. And then then it ends because okay, I don't want to spoil anything, but the way it ended, it had me looking for issue number 2, and then I realized there's no issue number 2 because there's only one with the Kickstarter. So what is it, right? So
Sorry.
no, it's cool because I know how it is. Getting these books out. I truly understand.
Issue
I
2
understand.
is this close to being done.
Okay. So
This-
my question is, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be a limited series. Will it be an ongoing series? Will we see like him forever?
So the idea is to do a limited series first,
Okay.
and then you get to see Damien when we jump back to the main One Nation series. But because Greg is super long-winded, there's potential for another another limited series of Stronghold. So,
Okay.
and I haven't ultimately decided how we're gonna approach the whole One Nation series, because
Mhm.
if you've guys been following me, there's a lot going on with One Nation, and there's a lot of jumping around too. Like, we
Mhm.
don't just jump back and forth, uh past, present, future, and Stronghold. That's the whole series. The whole
Yeah.
series jumps in time. Um and that's just the nature of, really, it's the nature of indie comics. Like, I'm trying to convey as much information for the story, um and not let it get stale or bogged down where it starts. And that's been a little bit of a struggle, but I think I might be getting to a handle on it. And a part of that is just like, okay, I'm going to tell the story that I want to tell, and I'm going to tell it in different eras, and I'm going to jump at will and then direct our audience to get the story right. We actually need to do a timeline. Like, I think I'm gonna start putting a timeline like Marvel does for their movies in the
Mhm.
middle of each book. That might be a good
Not a
idea
bad
as
idea.
well. Yeah.
So I'm glad that you expounded a bit on One Nation because from what I've read, and I have a couple issues that I've had the pleasure of purchasing. There is
I thank you.
of course, I support. I love that there is this intricate world building. I love that there is lore to it. There is a mythology to One Nation. So with that said, you know, what made you want to do it that way? What made you want to, jump around the timeline? What made you want to create, these various characters?
I'm long-winded too. Man, I have an outline for One Nation and the things that I want to accomplish, and it's super long, and I've been writing it for maybe, like, I don't know, since 2007 at this
Wow.
point. And I keep adding and rearranging and taking stuff out, and I keep finding amazing people like Greg to come and help me, like, make sense of it. You know what I'm saying? So I the idea of One Nation is interventionist superheroes. because one thing that fascinates me and kind of is a pet peeve for me is like, man, there's who will come and save you, especially for our community. Like,
Mhm.
is there somebody who can come and save us? And in the world, in the real world, we have to save ourselves. But in fiction, I'm like, yo, I want to create these characters that will come and save us.
Mhm.
That's so interesting to me because I feel like it hasn't really been explored. And I want a character like Damien to come in and say, no, like, let me help you out. Or a character like Sundiata to come in and say, you know what? I'm going to form this thing that will help my people. And that's the onus for the characters in One Nation. They're trying to figure the world out. And they have these abilities, but the world is filled with joy and corruption and people with machinations that want to just keep them on top. So Sundiata and Paragon and Damien and Daisy have to figure out, man, like, how do we make this a truly better place, and how do we make sure that we keep black people safe? And that's not to say that they only save black people,
Why
but
not?
well, historically, who has?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it has to be them, right? Um. So yeah, I don't. In my heart, I want to just tell y'all what it's all about, but I don't want to give a whole bunch away. But
It's understandable.
if you've read the first issue of Stronghold, you can see the future in that because Stronghold takes place. The present in Stronghold is the future of One Nation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because speaking about the timelines, just for like a quick second, what I loved about reading Paragon's origin story, I love that it took place in 1991.
Exactly.
To me that was just so interesting. And then we kind of sped up to current day, see what he's doing and everything. I think you're on the right track. I'm glad that Greg is on board, with his long-winded self, talking about Stronghold. The Stronghold, I don't think I've ever seen a character quite like him, not just in the indie community, but in Marvel, really, or DC, or wherever, especially one that's queer. Because if you think about how historically speaking, how those characters were treated, it was always harshly. Like I remember uh North Star, who's one of my favorite, X-Men, when he officially came out after beating around the bush, for about, let me see, he came out in 1979, I want to say. So up until 79 to 1994, it was just speculation. Then I remember there was an artist or a writer in the 80s during the Apple Flight, series, who said he was literally a fairy, which was just, slap in the face. But then when he finally came out in Alpha Flight issue 102, they canceled the book like shortly afterwards. Fast forward to now, we have queer characters, being represented, during this month, and the big two, and thankfully in our own community. So that's pretty cool. Um, so my thing is, and this is more like me asking as a fan who is, a fan of both of your stories. Will we ever see a crossover between Iznana and Stronghold,
Oh, man.
or at least a pinup for as a pure option? Because I do
We
need some.
had a pinup. We had a pinup. I don't know what happened.
Did I get it?
You didn't
I
get it?
forgot. I forgot what happened to that pinup, but
I still have it. It's there. Did
Well,
we?
I'm greedy, so
Did
I
we?
need
Did
more
we
than a
not?
pinup. I
We
want a
might have
one
been.
shot.
Were we saving that for issue 2? I don't know.
I don't recall. I think
I
it
don't
was supposed to be for if you backed. I think we were doing.
Was it the Isnana campaign? It was a Isnana campaign,
This like
right?
is none. I'm thinking
Honestly,
it's a blur.
You getting old, boy.
I think it was
bro.
against Nana.
I think we did it for was it the show? It had to be Showtime or birthday.
I feel like
It wasn't
logging in
It
right
definitely
now.
wasn't for birthday. I think no, I think what it was is we were doing if you backed Stronghold and if you backed Stronghold in the past with proof that you purchased it as well, and you backed Showtime or something, you'll get
Yeah.
that pinup. But I can't
Okay.
remember what happened exactly. But that pinup was dope. It was
It's
a
it,
really
no,
dope.
it's still
I was glad
alive.
to see it.
It's
Thank
still alive. It
It's
still
still.
exists. I
I
see it
remember like
almost every day.
I was hyped when I saw that shit. I was like, "Yo, this is fire, bro."
Mm.
My mind always works. I'm always keeping everything close to the vest. My mind always works like, all right, where can we use this? And I knew you were using it for that promo, but I was like, maybe we throw it in the back of issue 2 as a pinup or as a variant cover or something like that. So I'm never prone. I have a lot of art that people have never seen
I
for
believe
One Nation and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like I don't until that lock falls in place and I figure out where to put it. I don't I don't put it out there. You know.
you know
I
what
wish I was more like Milton. Milton posts shit
yes,
every
see
all
that
day, every. I
it's like
just
a
my
never
mind
ending
just does
stream.
not work like that.
No, it's
So it
fun.
exists. I'll send it to you as a
I
courtesy.
appreciate it, but I'm a greedy Leo, so not only do I want the pinup, I'd like a one shot of those two characters.
It
So,
would be dope. It would be
I'm
dope.
saying
I mean, talk to the creator of this Nana. See what he's talking about. I
I
don't
will. I'm
know.
gonna see him next week anyway, so I will make sure that I will pester him about that. Because
Yeah.
they're two really cool characters. They're both visually striking. I love the fact that they have these very strong mission statements, and they're both very unique. They're characters that you don't see anywhere else. They're
Right.
not carbon copies of existing characters. So I'm
Right.
all for that. Now,
Oh, yeah. They are my
Grant,
people.
can you tell me what is your creative process like? When you sit down to develop a story or a script, what goes through your head?
Can I share my screen? Let me see. Can I share my screen? Let's see that.
I sure hope so.
Let's
Please
see.
and thanks.
I'll share it with our viewers. Let's see.
Bless
Share
them.
screen. And do I have a window? Chrome tab.
Okay.
Um, where is it? Facebook. Is that? No. Oh no, it's only. Oh, these are windows. Never mind. Entire
Um,
screen. All right, there we go. All right, let's see. I'll share that, and then I'll put it on the screen. Can you guys see that?
something's loading. Yes. That
Hey,
that is hella nice. Oh my gosh. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Antonello strikes again. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
badass.
He has a very clean, cartoony look
I
that
know. I love it so much.
is so
It
sharp though.
moves. It moves, man. Like it really moves.
Like you
Like look
can
at
see the kinetic energy in it. I need to
so
commission him.
so that is a sneak preview of Isanana the Were Spider Stronghold.
By the
So
way, creative process. Where
yeah,
who's
so
Oh yeah, creative
what
process.
makes you, it is beautiful, Levon. It most certainly is. So, what is your process like? Do you do a chant? Do you do backflips or something? Do you work out first? I mean, what do you do?
What do you do?
um
Greg? What do you do?
honestly a lot of it just I'm always in my damn head. Honestly, I'm always in my head trying to think of ideas, stories to the point where I can just be sitting there spaced out, and then my dude looks at me. He's like, "You thinking about stories, ain't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." But I'm always jotting down ideas as well, trying to think of what I can do. And first off, I'll start with a plot outline
Hmm.
for the most part. But I also my mind is always working with all over the place. So whatever ideas I have in mind, I'll try to jot down, and I try to turn it into like a bit of a puzzle. Eventually, after writing a lot of the ideas down, I start to piece them together little by little to try to figure out the timeline. And I also don't write in order. So whatever scenes or moments or dialogue stands out to me or excites me at the moment, that's going to be what I developed. And then eventually, I will start to piece everything together. I'll figure out what I should do to connect certain scenes, and as well as trying to figure out, the general theme and what I'm trying to do. What's the ending? What's the point? What's the character development? Who are the characters? And stuff like that. So, but almost every book hasn't, aside from writing out of order, not every book has been written the same way. And you can also ask Jason. I write a shit ton of drafts, and to a point where he's tired of me when it comes to the drafts, because I'd be like, "Yo, I got a new draft and this and that and that."
And then months later, you be like, I wrote it in draft 5, and I'd be like, God damn, I ain't never even read draft 5.
And I even just that, but then I actually I've written issues 1, 2, and 3 years ago.
Oh.
And so those 3 issues are done. And I haven't jumped on 4. And then I even hit up Jason like, bro, I think we're gonna need an issue 5, man. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm just like, it's
when is the end in sight, yo?
You know? But even then, because of the fact that I got up to issue 3, I was like, yo, I got to go back to issue 1 because there's something that I wrote in issue 3 in order for me to set up, that way it comes out, fluid, it doesn't seem like it came out of nowhere and stuff like that. And so that's also something for me as a reader. I like reading stuff where maybe something happens later on and I can go back and I see the foreshadow, I see the setup. So it didn't seem like it's something that just got pulled out of the writer's ass, and so there will be certain things that it may seem like minimum or whatever in issue 1, but you actually see why it was important, like later on down the line. So that's definitely something with my writing process is always trying to find ways that I can set something up, because my mind, as I said, is always going all over the place, and sometimes it's sort of like, yo, if I place this here, maybe this could become something very important, because essentially that's what life is. Even though some things may come out of nowhere, there was some things that happened in the past that set all this shit up to happen.
Yep.
We just didn't see the full story. So that's pretty much, I'd say, my writing process as well. And sometimes another draft shows up because the art came through, and I'm like, oh shoot, because of Antonello decided to draw this, I'm gonna throw this thing in here too, and crap like that.
He's going to kill you.
Antonello hates me, bro. Like I'm telling you, Antonello, I drive Antonello crazy.
He's the bee's knees. So, Jason, what about you? Is it similar to Greg's process, or is it something completely different?
It's very similar. It's like Moana too. I'm all over the place. Because I don't just write, and the thing is, I don't consider myself like a traditional writer. That's why I work a lot with Greg and Alvern and Robert Jeffrey. Shout out Robert. Because I just don't consider myself a traditional writer. So I will outline and I will change your dialogue.
I'm a
dialogue can be
once the interview ends,
listen. But also, I'm sketching stuff and figuring out panel layouts and stuff too. Like I'm doing character designs, and especially if there's a thing the artist doesn't get or ask about, I'll thumbnail it, because I do everything. But my writing process, this is my writing process.
Oh, those Post-its. Oh yes. Wow, yeah.
So what I do is I forget where I heard this. Some writer or somebody, some indie guy, one of us was talking about their process, and they said they write on a lot of Post-its. And before that, I hadn't done it. And when I started doing it, and putting it on my big drawing board afterwards. Like I was
Okay,
like,
that
yo,
makes sense. Okay.
yeah, it helps me organize the ideas. Like I can move everything around and stuff, like Greg was talking about. And then once that happens, then I'll outline it. And I just outline on the phone. Like
How?
Android on the Notes app.
That's too much work. I gotta write it out.
I I don't it feels slow to me writing it out, and then I can while I'm like walking, like I walk in the mornings and stuff like that, or if I'm sitting at the doctor's office, or if I'm sitting waiting on my wife to do something, or waiting on Jason at Taekwondo, I can just start typing.
Okay.
So like I'm writing a story right now. Like wait, I'm writing you can't see that, but
Yeah,
I'm writing a story right now. I'm outlining it, and I'm just playing with it on the phone. So I have a book of this particular story that I'm writing right now, but it's essentially just post-its like in the book in little sketches. So that's my process. It's all over the place. I don't write anything linear at all either. So whatever, same thing with Greg. Whatever tickles my pickle, um, I start writing, and then I try not to like limit anything in the first draft,
hmm
even though I try not to do a whole lot of drafts. And I just go. I
That's
just
just
have
fine. I
brain.
got mad fast.
I have brain diarrhea, and then I cut.
Brain diarrhea. That's a new
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I just let it flow.
Hmm.
I go off on tangents. I'm talking about stuff that happened to me when I was a kid. Doesn't matter. I just go. So it's all over the place still. One day I'll actually write something and I'll say, wow, I'm a writer now, but I haven't gotten there yet.
So you don't consider yourself a writer now?
I don't.
Really?
Not like traditionally. I like not like Greg or like David Walker or like Alvern. Like I just don't
This
I just don't
is
consider myself.
baffling to me.
Well, I
I'm
feel like
like, what's
you
going
guys.
on?
I feel like you guys have. I'm traditionally an illustrator, so I know that backwards and forwards, right? Like I know techniques and I know color theory and all that stuff, and I feel like you guys have a knowledge of writing that I don't necessarily have. So it feels weird to me to consider myself a writer. Like
Well, we're still learning though
technique-wise.
as writers. who
Still,
do stuff.
but you have the basics though, and I feel
But so do
like
you.
I'm not there yet.
She's in
With
right.
I just don't feel it.
You kid. Yeah, I want to leave that one alone. So,
Okay.
so my next question for you guys, considering how influential you are in the community, what is it? What is something that you want to bring to it?
Am I influential?
I'd say so.
Since
Yeah.
when?
I mean,
Um,
you've been doing this for what, over 10 years, right?
what's this year?
Yeah,
Yeah, we've been doing it a while.
Greg, you've been doing this for what?
I'm just saying, bro. Like, you not only have you had One Nation out for how long, you literally came out. You have like PAX, that PAX book that came out not so long ago, which I need to tell you that is a really fun book. And you are a black-owned printer. You're
Yeah,
printing a
which is
shit ton of
rare.
books. So how the hell are you not influential, bro?
I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm just asking.
don't
you
be
tell
mad.
you tell me.
Come on, man.
I love what I do. If that's worth anything.
Well, it helps. It shows in your craft. The same with Greg. You guys, no, Greg in particular, he is always on the go. Like, you
He's
go on
influential.
Facebook, he's at some con in Madripoor or Genosha, Krakoa, and I'm like, what's next? Is it Asgard? Because I wasn't notified about this.
Gregory is influential. People
Yeah.
listen to him.
So yeah, and I wanted to talk about that for a little bit. I love the fact that you guys are both very modest when it comes to your standing in the community. I told Greg a few weeks ago, we had a conversation. I said, Greg, you don't realize you're like the nexus being when it comes to the indie comic scene, because everybody knows you. And through you, Greg, because I'm looking at you as I'm talking, I met so many other creators. Like if I hadn't known you, I wouldn't have known Brian. And here we are with Wingless, and I'm working on getting my her book out there. So I mean, and that's just my thread of the bigger tapestry of what you are a part of, because you are you're the spider, and this is your web, and we're all we're all stuck in it.
Message.
So I think that's pretty cool. I love that you guys are humble about it, but call it for what it is.
I appreciate that, man.
I appreciate it too. I mean, maybe I don't take compliments well. I don't know, but
You don't.
I do. I like to be inside of the community. I like that I know pretty much everybody. I like that about it. That's cool. It's cool to know people.
It
Cool to know
is.
people.
It is. I was just thinking about how we had such a great time. Yes, exactly. Just take those freaking flowers. I was thinking about how much fun we had at Black Comics Day.
Oh
Back
man,
in February. That was just that was like the moment.
yo, you need to come back down here, son. Like
I
we gotta.
do. I'm trying to
Right.
convince my partner for us to relocate to the West Coast.
Oh man, you gonna tear it up out here.
That's the plan. That's the plan. As much as I love the East Coast, I'm just over it. I was talking to my brother about it earlier, and he's like, you know what? I'm in the DMV area now, but I don't want to be forever. So, but yeah, so the West Coast, I love being out there in February. I love being, amongst you guys. Even when we were hanging out at the comic book store, we were completely, geeking out there. That's right. That's right. Um, so
It was super fun.
so I guess my next question, for both of you guys, and Greg, I want you to go first. What's next? What are some things you're working on that you can disclose? What's next for you?
Well, I have the Nexus now that I'm trying to get out by the end of the year, if possible. Um, it's with Sean Hill as the artist, where Iznana meets Ogun, who is the Haitian and Yoruba god of war and iron. And this is a story that I've had in mind forever.
Mhm.
And when Sean Hill jumped on board, and he was like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to draw Iznana." I was like, "What?" So that was it's and that there's so many pages and so many things I wish I can show, but I just don't want to spoil like a
Mm.
lot of moments that's happening. But
I need to see them pages, yo.
you don't know how hard I've been holding back of showing so many things. And then we got Walt Bonner, who has done the covers for volumes 1 and 2. He's doing the colors this time, so that's coming out. And I guess I could announce this, but if you notice, most of the Iznana stories I've had a little bonus story or a second story, and my sister is going to be the one doing the art for that one. So she's
Nice.
finally doing some sequential art. She's working on it now. She's trying to figure out how to do it. But I'm with her 100%. I'm trying my best to really support her and guide her along with it. And I won't say what the story is, but it does have to do with the whole what happens with Ogun, as well as continuing to further Iznana's story, his development. Because one thing is, it is a coming of age story, and you see him going through a lot of things, and I want to showcase aspects of his mental well-being, of how he's dealing with everything, because he is still a kid, and I feel like that's one thing that a lot of these stories, these fantastical stories with kids, they don't really go into much about their mental well-being,
They don't.
and I think it's very important for me to showcase that. Aside from that, I have the book with Scholastic that's coming out called Dreamer, with Akeem Alua, who is a hockey player, a former hockey player, and we pretty much showcase his life. And that was a really fun and crazy project to be a part of. And getting to interview his family, trying to figure out how we're going to tell the story and bring it forth. That's something I'm very excited for, and I hope a lot of people check it out. And we need whoever's watching, type in Dreamer, put in my name on Amazon, pre-order the book because we're trying to get on the New York Times bestseller.
Yeah,
And I get a raise if y'all do. So please,
the
like, I
monies.
get a raise if I make the New York Times bestseller.
Straight up.
That would be so ideal.
Oh man,
Now, how about
I would definitely pre-order it.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So, Jason, what about you? I know you went into a little bit, but I know you don't want to give too much away.
So many things. I'll give it all away. No, we're working on Pac Samson #2. I've been pulling my hair out, editing scripts all week for that. But go on Amazon, and while you're buying Dreamer, buy Pac Samson as well. Because I get royalties. Finally. Um what else are we doing? Changa
Stronghold.
#3. Changa #2 just came out, but Changa #3.
Mm-hmm.
I have a book with Greg Burnham called Beautiful's Barbecue, and we're fumbling around with a Kickstarter for that. Hopefully this summer, if we could get our stuff together, or if I could get my stuff together. What else? And I'm thinking of a big 133 art Kickstarter, like
Okay.
almost like a year subscription. I'm playing around in my head with, cause we got One Nation #3. Everybody hasn't purchased One Nation the Gauntlet yet. That's brand new. Let's go. Go get One Nation the Gauntlet. It's on 133 Art's website. 133 Art Anthology for real. I want to do another art book called Suja. What else? What else I want to do? One Nation #3, One Nation #4, Stronghold #2,
Yeah.
Retcon #2, Retcon #3. I'll share my screen again. Let me share my screen again.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
Thank you.
Let's share some screen stuff. One Nation #4. You'll meet the Thrice triplets. Can you guys see that? Yeah.
We can see it. Yep.
Yeah, so they're coming out hard.
Yeah,
This
okay.
literally just got finished being colored today. So I'm excited about that. It is the art on that thing is going to be amazing. The book is done. It just needs to be colored and lettered. But we got a wonderful colorist that I'm trying to get to do it, Sunil Gadre, and amazing letterist that I've been working with, Jess Havoc. She's amazing.
Yes, I know her.
Yeah, she did One Nation the Gauntlet, and she did it in a week.
Yeah, she's fast.
She is
She's
fire.
super fast.
Yeah. So shout out to Jess. So yeah, I want to do a whole lot of books. We're trying to do a zombie western. I just got to get my legs under me for that. With Kanisha Williams. Shout out to Kanisha. I love you. Thank you for being so patient with me.
Nice.
And what else are we doing? We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know where I'm gonna get the money to pay the wonderful artists and writers that I work with, but we got to find it somehow, and we got to put this stuff out. Shout out to my assistant Roland, who sends out all the invoices. I love you. You make me look like I know what I'm doing, but a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff, and printing more comics. New website redesign.
Okay.
It's almost done. And hopefully it'll have a print calculator. Why am I just rambling? That's enough.
So
I do have one more thing I forgot to announce.
yes.
I am attached to Watson Holmes right now, which was one of my favorite comic series a couple of years ago. And so when I was asked to jump on board, I actually almost said no because I was like, I'm not about to fuck up this book right now, man. But they were very adamant of making sure that I take it, that I say yes, and so I was like, okay, cool, I guess.
Do it.
And the script has already
Do
been
it.
written, and I guess we're just waiting for the art, but it's going to be released under Mutiny magazine. For Fabrice's what is it? Why is the name of
Fair
the company?
Square. Fair
Fair
Square.
Square. There you go. Yeah, Fair Square. So that should be fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
You guys both have very exciting things to look forward to. I guess I'll start budgeting now so I can, patronize my friend.
We appreciate you.
Of course. So my last question for you guys, and I'll let you guys, go to do whatever you need to. Where can we find you on social media?
Go ahead.
Greg.
I mean, you see Bobby down there, my Twitter.
Yeah. Only Twitter?
Only.
Let me stop being messy. Let me stop. I can't help
My Twitter there is Greg Day on IG, where you get to see me shit posting memes and my slight thirst traps and workout
Slight?
videos.
Slight.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway.
Compared to my modeling shit, yeah, that's slight, bro.
Yeah, the PG. We'll keep it at that.
Full traps.
Keep trapping.
You got to sell books. You got to show a titty or something. Sell books.
every Friday.
A whole nipple.
Greg shows titties.
He does. It's like clockwork. Jason, where can we find you?
Yeah, Jason, where we go see some titties, man?
Man, my titties ain't tittying right now. 133art.com is the hub. That's where you can get all the books, all the merch. Again, like I said earlier, eventually a print calculator so people can stop like asking me to calculate things.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, if you want to see a whole lot of shit talking and criticizing things, you can follow Jason Reeves. Or if you just about the business and about the comics, 133 Art Publishing for Facebook, Instagram at 133 Art.
That's such a mess.
He always trying to
It's a
prop me up. Yeah. But at 133 Art on Instagram, at 133 Art on Twitter, but I don't be on there. Yeah, I don't be on there. And what else? Oh, we just got on TikTok.
Okay, cool.
133 Art Publishing. I'm not doing no dances though. Sorry.
Oh, what about you, Greg?
What on TikTok?
Yeah.
I have a TikTok, but I never use it. Honestly, I need to get on it. I need to, because I be seeing some cool videos, and I think Danny Quick uses it pretty well.
Danny stays on TikTok.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, I need to get up on that.
Yeah.
And try to figure out what I can do, because it's not even just my work. I want to showcase a lot of other Black creators and stuff like that. If I can try to build some type of audience there, showcase what else is out there, which I used to do more often in the past, but I want to get back on that aspect.
See, influential. That's what I'm
saying.
He
can't help it. He's like, Professor X, but with melanin,
And then there's also webbreakcomics.ecwid.com. You get all access to all my other Isnana books and trading cards and stuff like that. I need to start putting the prints up on there as well. But,
please.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, y'all. I want to thank you again. I know this has been a long day for all of us, so it does mean a lot that you took the time to hang out with me, because I know it's kind of late too. And by kinda, I mean it actually is.
It's not late over here.
Early for Jason.
It's what, 6:30 for you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not.
Sun's still out over here.
Yeah, it's probably set over here. But thank you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on the last day of Pride. And I will see Greg next week at BlurCon. Jason, you got to make sure you get out there at some point, but if not, I'll see you when I'm back on the West Coast. And for those who are watching, you know, Stranger Things comes out tomorrow. You okay?
They better not kill fucking Lucas and Erica. I'm a
Well, someone said
They're not gonna kill
they
Lucas.
said 5
and
people. They said 5 people going to die.
5 people.
5.
Yeah,
Who
that's like
said?
the whole cast.
The Duffer Brothers said that.
Yeah.
Well, it was from Netflix memes.
Don't believe it. I don't believe it.
They could get rid of Jonathan and Jason, and I'm good.
Who's Jason? Which one is Jason?
Jason is the recent bully who's
yeah, he
terrorizing everybody.
So yeah, so he can go. Jonathan should have gone 3 seasons ago. Who else can go?
He's useless, man.
Oh, and Max.
They made him
go
useless
too.
so that my man could get back in the picture with old girl. That's what it is.
Yeah, Steve must not be touched.
Jonathan was wilding season 2.
He started off as a stalker. But anyway, we'll talk about that offline. Guys, thanks for coming on Malachi's Corner. Everybody have a good night.
Mike could go. Absolutely not.
I could lose Mike. I won't get mad. On what
Who's Mike again? I'm having a
Mike was tripping this season.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking about Will. Who's Mike? Oh, no. Mike can go. I'm good.
No. Well,
I get confused with Will.
Why do you like Will?
So leave Will alone. Like Will,
How, Sway?
Will needs to be left alone.
Will has gone through so much
He needs to come out
from everyone, and he's like, "Yo, let's get some like actual full development and some focus
and
on
a haircut."
And a haircut.
He's
like the one obviously queer character aside from Maya. Wait, what's that girl's name?
Yeah, you said it. That's her name, Maya. But Robin in the show.
On the show, it's Robin.
Yeah, Robin.
There you go. I'm like, yo, let's see some development from Will. You know, he's trying his best to like get his friends together and realize, you know, like he's missed so much of his childhood because of all the fucking trauma. And no one asks him, what is going on with you? Are you okay?
Will is gonna betray them, I bet. I'm thinking Will still got the mind flayer in him. They were talking about how it was his birthday when they were filming and nobody said anything about his birthday.
I did read that.
He's gonna be like, man, yo.
I didn't read that. That's a hot
kill everybody.
But, so yes, guys, we'll talk offline. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good night.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands. Without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves a republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will. So if you put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war. But didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. Network out for all the locals, school will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. We will.
I'm Steve Bloom. I've been a voice actor for more than 30 years, playing characters like Wolverine, Starscream, Tank Dempsey from Call of Duty.
With Bloomfox Studios, I've learned so much about myself.
Learning to breathe, to no fear, to getting ugly in front of the mic. One of the biggest changes I've noticed, at least for me, is how much my confidence level has gone up.
Done an Eastern European video game, an e-commerce commercial, a documentary. If you're thinking about getting into voiceover, just do it. Jump in.